So welcome back to Amazing Genius math tutorial. So now we're going to be focusing on the roots, finding the roots. So this question is also there on question 3 of your question paper. Therefore, it says that 3.1 3.1 we have that f at x is equal to x squared cubed minus 2x squared. Find the roots of this equation. So all the time when you need to find the roots, equate your equation to equal to 0, meaning that you're going to say x cubed minus 2x squared x squared equal to 0, right? Therefore, you're going to take the common factor of the equation, which is x squared. Therefore, x squared, then you open bracket, therefore you say x squared. Because why? Because we know that the common factor of x cubed is x squared. Why do we choose x squared? Because we can also go on that 2x squared, right? So when we take the common factor, we find that x squared is the common factor of x cubed minus 2x squared. Therefore, it goes inside that side. Therefore, it leaves out 2x squared. Therefore, minus x minus 2 close brackets equal to 0. So in such equations where that being said that we have equation says that, so just know this actually means that x squared is actually equal to 0. You can just say x is equal to 0. Not that much important, but the answer must be there. So under your second factor, we have x. Remember the values that we left inside the bracket. We have x squared minus 2 equal to 0, right? Therefore, we need to find the values of x. So we know we cannot do the trick. So on this one, since we cannot factorize, therefore we're saying x squared equal to positive 2. Therefore, we have to change that to x, whereby we're going to say x is equal to the square root of 2. Remember the sign thing, meaning that our root is going to be, let me just say our root is going to be x is equal to 0, the first answer, remember. Therefore we have what, x is equal to 0 and the positive square root of 2 and the negative square root of 2. But hence I put this sign here, which are very much important. So actually these like solving for x, these are the value, the roots, finding the roots. So on this one we have 3.2 is g at x is equal to g cubed. This is not cubed, is 3 x over 3 plus x, right? So this could be tricky for other people, but I told you that the trick is to find to make equation equal to 0, meaning that you're going to say x raised to 3 plus x is equal to 0. Therefore, after that, you just need to find the common factors. So in this equation, we can see that we don't have the constant numbers, so we have the common factor since we have x. So we're going to say x is the common factor. Therefore, when we open brackets, therefore we say x squared, because we know that when we multiply x by x squared, it's going to give us x raised to 3. Therefore, Therefore, we're going to say plus 1, because we know that 1 multiplied by x is going to give us x. So equal to 0, meaning that our first answer, we have that x is equal to 0. Therefore, we have to check our second factor. Our second factor, we have that x squared plus 1 is equal to 0, meaning that we're going to take this to the other side. X squared is equal to negative 1. So since well, because of this negative, meaning that when we say x, alright, when we say x, if we just solve for that, it's going to be this when you're using your calculator, it's going to be undefined, but we know that if you're doing engineering mathematics, actually this is just x. This is a complex number, but on this case we're not talking about complex numbers, but therefore the roots of this equation is equal to x is equal to 0. Those are the roots. Since we cannot use this guy here, right? But you can just put that for reference. But if they didn't teach you about complex numbers, please do not include it. Those are the rules. All right. Then 3.3, we have that h at x is equal to x raised to 3 plus x squared. So on this equation, hence I said first thing, you must actually equate this thing to equal to 0, meaning that x raised to 3 plus x squared is equal to 0. Therefore, you're going to look for the common factor. So meaning that we're going to say x squared. Since when we have 2, 3, we're going to say x squared because it can go there. X squared plus 1. Alright, when you take it out of that guide there, it's going to give you x plus 1. And bracket is equal to 0, meaning that our first answer, we have x squared equal to 0, meaning that x is equal to 0. This is the first root that we have, which is 0. But for the second root, we're going to check the common factor, the one that is in the bracket. Therefore, we are going to say, therefore, x plus 1 equal to 0. Therefore, we're going to say x is equal to negative 1. That's our second root. That's the value. That's our second root. That's our second root, meaning that our roots, this is the final answer, our root is x equal to 0 and negative 1. Negative 1. So those are our roots. So for 3.4, we have what? We have k raised to x at x is equal to negative 2. So on this equation, we do have a constant. We're dealing with a constant function. So let's set this guy to 0. It's going to be very impossible because when you set it to 0, it's going to be 0 equal to negative 2. This is very impossible. So for this one here, there are no roots. Right? No roots. So that's it. Don't panic. No roots. Can solve for it. So we just write that. No roots. So 3.5. Okay, 3.5. So on 3.5 with j at x is equal to 0. Therefore, on this guy also, listen carefully. Since j at x is equal to 0, therefore, for every value of x, right, are all real numbers, roots, are all roots, like all the values of x are real roots, are real roots. We can't know number roots, but they're all real roots, right? Therefore, let's do question 4. So let's see what was there on equation. Equation 4 was what's the question? Determine the following. Okay, they gave us what on question 4? They gave us f at x equal to 4 squared and what g at x equal to 3x minus 1. Okay, I thought I did this one, but it seems like I haven't yet done it. I did the composite on the previous question. So on this one, let's not take time, but I will explain briefly. So it says that the first equation says 4.1 says that f at x plus g at x. Actually, this is just your addition method in function. So if you don't understand this, meaning that you don't understand your addition and your subtraction. So this is going to be very, very, very easy for you to do. Therefore, you're going to say that x, the value of f at x is equal to x squared. So you're going to say x squared plus listen, 3 minus 1, because 3x minus 1 is the value of g at x, right? We add those guys together. So obviously this one, that the value doesn't change, it's like that. That's the answer. So we're going to 4.2, and on 4.2 we have what? F at x minus g at x. This is really interesting. So we're going to say the value of f at x is equal to x squared. Therefore, when you see f at x, you put f squared, right? And when you see g at x, you put 3x minus 1. Therefore, we're going to say that guy minus this guy. So for you to get a good answer, you must put all these things in bracket, right? So after then, x squared minus 3x plus 1, therefore that's your final answer, this guy here, right? Don't be confused. That's your final answer then. Alright, okay, so 4 is going to say, it says that this is the multiplication, f at x multiplied by g at x. Therefore this we know that is going to be, this just say x squared multiplied by 3x minus 1, right? Which is going to give us what? 3x raised to 3 then minus x squared. This is just a very, very simple thing to do. You know, you did your exponents. If you did your exponents multiplication, you should know this. You know that when you multiply these two, it's going to just add, because here we have 1. They are going to add since we multiply. If we divide, they're going to minus. Please take that in note. Please. So we have 4. Exactly my point. We have 4.4. So we have f at x raised over g at x, right? Therefore, this just says that we have x squared over x minus 1, right? That's your final answer. You cannot go any further here. You are done. Do not go further. You are actually done. They never said solve. So you are done there. So let's go to the last equation, which is the domain and the range. Question 5. The domain and the range. Please, I need to explain something on question 4 before I go anywhere. Guys, if they say that f at x is equal to x squared and g at x is equal to 3x minus 1, meaning that whenever you substitute, wherever you see the value of g at x, meaning that you have to replace it by 3 minus 1. This simply says that g at x is equal to x, but x is equal to 3x minus 1. Please, for you to understand this thing, you must understand everything. So whatever the statement that I wrote here, some people might not understand it. Please refrain from not understanding. Well,